with a little bit of perspective, I'm able to deal with life a whole lot differently. I'm able to take different steps. I'm able to be a lot more intentional. And I'm also able to deal with the difficulties in life a whole differently. Physically, I can deal a lot more with the tough aspects of life better. I'm able to be more intentional about my steps and what I really want to achieve or the things I need to do. I'm able to, kind of embrace life differently. Perspective shift came when I kind of understood the concept of eternity, when I valued it a lot more. And this is how I looked at it. If, for instance, eternity was 10 million years from now, and you understand that the expectancy of human race, is somewhere about 100 to 150. But assuming that eternity was 10 million times infinity, and since we can't really grasp the concept of infinity, I'll just kind of like to work with 10 million years. Now I'm going to use the higher average of life expectancy to be 100 years, all right? Now divide that by 10 million years, okay? So 100 divided by 10 million will give you something about 0.00001%. You get where I'm going? So the life that we are experiencing right now only represents 0.00001%. However, that the 100 years that we live is really going to define our next 10 million times infinity, right? And if that's the case, if the 100 years, 150 or whatever, how much long that we stay on this earth, it's still minute in percentage. And that is only going to define our next 10 million years. Now, also understanding that this 100 years or 150 for some could actually potentially shape what my next 10 million years would be about, where it would be, or even how I would be rewarded or how I would live that next 10 million years times infinity. It then dawns on me that I have to deal differently. I have to be more intentional about the seeds that I'm sowing, which I would really reap in a really longer time. Now, let's bring this to our businesses, to our lives in business. A lot of people and not a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners deal with business from the narrow perspective, I would call it, not from the broader perspective, which I had just explained to you. The narrow perspective being that because there is not the overview, the longer view of what it is really that they're hoping for, or they imagine, or they can see about their business, they only deal with their business in the reality of the moment. The moment could be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. They deal with the realities and the conditionings and the steps that they take are maybe not so intentional, or even if they feel that it's intentional, but because it does not have a wider perspective, it's a lot narrow in terms of the way they manage their business, the way they conduct their business, the way they manage the business, and even the purpose of their business. And this in many ways impacts on the ability of these businesses to scale, to be profitable. Because the narrower, the more you deal with your business from a very narrow perspective, then your reactions and your intentions and even the things that you're supposed to do that you don't do because you don't have a broader look at your business defines how your business will take. Now, what am I saying? When you have the wider look, the further look, when you have the perspective of what perhaps in this case eternity could look like in your business, And I don't mean eternity, which is out of the space of our time, which is within the 100 and so, but eternity in the sense of generations to come. Say maybe you pass on your business to different generations, which is called legacy. Now listen, let's not even go that far. How about in the next 10 years, 20 years? Where do you see your business? What exactly are the things that you know or desire or understand that will happen in that time? What will the next 20 years reward you because of the seeds and intentional steps that you're taking today? You can only know that if you have created your success blueprint. And that is my quest, to basically help all business owners to come through out of that narrow perspective and come to overlook the broader perspective of understanding that you must create a success blueprint. That is, just like God, who knows the beginning from the end and the end from the beginning. And that's because he has a blueprint of what exactly is going to happen at the end of the end. All right? At the end of the earth, at the end of time, he knows exactly what's going to happen. And because he knows what's going to happen, there are some intentional things that are going to happen before that, prior to that. Now, that's the same perspective that I want you to have as an entrepreneur, a business owner, as a coach, as a vision-led entrepreneur. You need to create your success blueprint. And then you can come back to today and walk your steps intentionally towards that. It will make you more compassionate. It will make you change everything about your business, because you will no longer see your business from the narrow perspective of the economy, the narrow perspective of today, the narrow perspective of things that are happening around you or the conditions that are around you right now, because you're so focused on what tomorrow should bring. And that is what you will consistently work towards. The Success Blueprint Creator has been designed for entrepreneurs, business owners, so that you can basically curate your own success story. You can design the success that you want to see ahead in your business and start today to grow towards it. We take you through a process where you have your success blueprint, you have your growth plan, you have set markers, and you also have your focus board. This entire process helps you to ensure that you have exactly what you're looking ahead to achieve, the success that you really want to see ahead of you, that you have created. I mean, success is really something that we can determine, and because our minds are such a powerful tool to help us to envision something that is ahead of us, but yet take the steps towards it. Now, that's what we have created with the Success Blueprint to help you achieve this.